Uber, Bitcoin, self-driving cars. Combine those three together, and you have the self-owning taxi. A car that is a corporation that owns itself, pays for the car lease, the car insurance, and the gasoline from the revenues it makes, giving passengers a ride, and there's not a single human involved in that matter.
Please welcome Eric Schmidt.
Dr. Eric Schmidt.
Eric Schmidt.
Eric Schmidt.
Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO, political advisor to presidents, billionaire, and now a shaper of government policy. In 2019, Congress tasked Schmidt with chairing the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence. That federal commission produced this 700-page report advising the government on how to spend $40 billion taxpayer dollars on AI.
The nation needs to become AI ready by 2025.
A CNBC investigation found that at the same time Schmidt was influencing the industry's future, he was making personal investments in AI companies that stood to generate profits for himself. There's no indication Schmidt did anything unlawful or even against the...
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we know Trump signed an executive order for artificial intelligence. And now we have Eric Schmidt back in 2019 in charge of over $40 billion. And of course, CNBC is throwing in a twist that he invested in these AI companies in order to get a profit, instead of telling the American people what companies he invested in so they can make money too. And guys, we have the Fed is not letting up. There is no pivot, guys. We know they're going to destroy the legacy market in order to bring in the fourth industrial revolution. They're not done yet. And not only are they not done raising rates, we still have QT, and they're going to let rates sit there for a while until inflation comes down. And rarely is anybody talking about that 15% tax these big corporations have to pay. So imagine the money that these big tech companies are going to have to pay. Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. And we have the Morning Joe on Squawk Box. Joe Scarborough playing the Hegelian dialectic, talking about China and how China has no way of taking over the place of the U.S. And guys, we already know they already took the place of the U.S. And this was planned a long time ago, and I proved it time and time again. They're going to be leading us in the fourth industrial revolution where the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy and the sheep go inside the metaverse. But don't forget what Brzezinski's daughter stated on Morning Joe, because she's basically his partner on that MSNBC show. She stated that Trump could control what the people think, and that is our job. And she's talking about the media. She put her head down, moved the papers while she was saying it. But we know that is fact. The media controls the minds of the people. And her father played a big role in the Soviet Union downfall. Knowing your history to the NWO is so important. So therefore, you don't fall for the devil's tricks. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I think what the Fed is actually considering is 75 basis points the next meeting, pretty much baked in. Market understands that. I think depending on the data, 50 or 75 at the last meeting of the year, and then continuing with one or two more increases in the first part of next year. So I think the market was wrong to get off to the races, as you say, because I think once the Fed is done with hiking, it's also going to stay there for a very long time until inflation is conquered. So I think the market is misreading the Fed's intentions, even if the Fed does slow down a little bit in terms of the pace at which it's raising rates.
Up, have we actually defeated inflation before you can even sniff the idea of a rate cut?
I think that's right, and I think Chair Powell has said that. I think the market, has had moments of hopeful and optimistic behavior. Earlier in the summer, there was, of course, the, have we reached peak inflation? And then there was an earlier discussion of a pivot that died away with bad numbers, most recently in the CPI. So the pivot's back on the table in the market's minds, but I think they're losing track of the big picture, which is inflation is still running far too high for the Fed's comfort, and they are going to use their tools, primarily interest rates, to get inflation much closer to the 2% target and have a high degree of confidence that it's there before they even think of reducing rates.
Next move in China, and how do you think we should think about it in terms of these autocratic regimes?
Well, again, obviously very bad for China and of course, for human rights in China. I've got to say, though, she is being rewarded for just one problem move after another over the past 5 years. He's declared war on entrepreneurs. He's declared war on capitalism. He's gone in and shattered Hong Kong's standing as a financial center that's vibrant and growing. You look at his zero COVID policy. And again, this guy has done more to help the United States stay competitive against China than anybody else. It reminds me, you know, Joe is old enough, the other morning Joe is old enough to remember in the late 1980s, we always heard about the Japan that could say no. Yep. Japan was
Pebble
going
Beach.
to overtake us.
Yeah.
I got so tired of hearing it then. And when I started hearing 10 years ago that China was going to overtake us and turn America into its granary, I rolled my eyes because authoritarian regimes are inconsistent with capitalism. Xi's proven it again, and he's being rewarded for declaring war on the private sector, on entrepreneurs, on the things that'll help China grow.
I hear from all the Trump supporters that I talk to who were Trump voters and are still Trump supporters. They go, yeah, you guys are going crazy. He's doing, what are you so surprised about? He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
Well, and I think that the dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
Yeah,
he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.